a tribute to our great nation. So at this time, if I could have everyone rise and remove your cover for the singing of our national anthem by none other than Miss Hannah Hogner.
And bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we've watched, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, Lord. O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Hannah. Coming into the ring at this time for your miniature Hereford show, this is going to be Class 101. These will be Fall Junior Heifer calves, calved July 1st through December 31st of 2024. Within the Class 101, we have two entries. Entry 1837 from Rayleigh Ezel. And we have entry 1835 from Evie Mitchell. These are the only 2 entries in this class, as well as the only class within this division. So first and second within Class 101 will become your champion and reserve champion Fall Junior Heifer Calves. Of your miniature Herefords. In second place, entry 1835 from Evie Mitchell. That becomes your reserve champion Fall Junior Heifer Calf. Your class winner, entry 1837 from Rayleigh Azell. That becomes your champion Fall Junior Heifer Calf. Set to enter the ring at this time will now be our Class 102. These would be Summer Junior Heifer Calves, calved May 1st through June 30th of 2024. This division is sponsored by Briggs Miller Ranch. Within this Class 102, we will have several entries. Entry 1845 from Ty McIntyre. 1844 from John Carter. 1843 from Roma Ensico. 1842 from McKenna Camp. Entry 1840 from Flora Ensico. 1839 from Ivy Fields. And entry 1838 from Claire Christensen. First place and second place within this class will become your champion and reserve champion Summer Junior Heifer Calves. Your results coming out of Class 102 of your summer junior heifer calves. 7th place, 1840 from Flora Ensico. 6th place, 1843 from Roma Ensico. 5th place, entry 1844 from John Carter. 4th place, entry 1838 from Claire Christensen. 3rd place, entry 1842 from McKenna Camp. 2nd place, and your reserve champion summer junior heifer calf, entry 1845 from Ty McIntyre. And your class winner and your champion summer junior heifer calf, entry 1839 from Ivy Fields. In the ring at this time is now Class 103. Class 103 is spring junior heifer calves, calved April 1st through April 30th of 2024. We have in this class entries 1851 from Thomas Vigil, 1850 from Canyon Dops, 1848 from Jody Looney, entry 1849 from Mesa Arnold, 1847 from Emmy Mitchell, and entry 1846 from Bristol Pence. This is the only class within the division, so first in place within this class will become your champion and reserve champion spring junior heifer calves. For those of you that are wondering about the miniature Hereford breed itself, miniature Herefords are a full-blood Hereford. They are just simply not as tall as the normal ordinary Herefords that you usually see today out in the pastures. Purebred miniature Herefords are free of the dwarf gene and are registered with the American Hereford Association. That's just like their large counterparts, and their pedigrees within the AHA trace all the way back to when Hereford cattle first set foot on American soil. Herefords have come a long way since the first arrival in the United States, and they have been repeatedly proven for their hardiness, adaptability to any environment in which they are placed, and their ease of gaining weight to produce high-quality beef. Because these species traits are special, Herefords are primarily a beef animal, and the miniatures are not so different. Miniature Herefords, because of their similar size, are much easier to handle compared to the large cattle. They require less space for comfortable living quarters, and they eat less food, far less food. Because of this, they make great backyard pets and can even help you obtain agricultural tax exemption status. Extremely docile in nature, the minis are excellent for children or even the young at heart. They are a superb 4-H and FFA animal, and they can help instill responsibility and a sense of accomplishment in a youngster. If you're interested in getting involved in the Miniature Hereford Association, by all means, see one of our board members of the Miniature Hereford Breeders Association. we want to welcome our exhibitors and spectators as well as parents to our Southern show ring. Our Southern show ring will house our Gelbvieh show. In the ring at this time for our Gelbviehs is class number 1. We have a single entry in class 1. These are heifer calves from February 1st of 2024 through February 29th of 2024. We have the lone entry 1364. This is Isabel Lowe from Adrian, Missouri.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we start our Gelbvieh Juniors show, we've got a single entry in this particular class, and a very nice female that this young lady's brought out. Tremendous length of body and length of hip in this female. Get her out on the move, and she sure covers her track and reaches extremely long through her front end, and tremendous amount of performance in her. Let's give her a nice hand for her single entry.
Your results coming out of your first class of Gelbviehs. First place, entry 1364 from Isabel Lowe. At this time, we will now bring into our Southern show ring number 2. Class number 2 will be heifer calves from January 1st through January 31st of 2024. We have 2 entries in class 2. We'll have entry 1371 from Gabe Huser and entry 1373 from Nick Doring.
Well, in your second class in your Gelbvieh side of the ring, 2 really nice females here to compete in this class. One that I think kind of goes to the top pretty good for me is this really dark red female here. If you want to take her and set her into motion for me. One that balances extremely well. If you just study her from the side profile, and then as you get the three-dimensional look of her, when you get her set into motion, you start to study her hip width and the amount of mass and substance she has through her center body shape. Here's one that's really, really complete. I think a very nice female. Heifer that comes in second in this particular class, one that sure is big-bodied. She's tremendous through her center body shape. One that just doesn't balance quite as well for her as we study her and compare her to the heifer that wins this class, but one that sure got some muscle and some width and some thickness in her, and one that sure got some dimension and some shape to her ribs. So really a nice pair of females. Please congratulate those two exhibitors. Thank you.
Your results from Class 103 of your miniature Herefords. In sixth place, entry 1849 from Mesa Arnold. Fifth place, 1851 from Thomas Vigil. Fourth place, 1847 from Evie Mitchell. Third place, 1846 from Bristol Pence. Second place in your reserve champion spring junior heifer calf, entry 1848 from Jody Looney. And your class winner and champion spring junior heifer calf, entry 1850 from Canyon Dops. In the ring at this time for our miniature Herefords will be Class 104A. Class 104A is our early spring junior heifer calves, calved March 1st through the 31st of 2024. This division is sponsored by KAL Enterprises of Mini Herefords. In this class we have entry 1862 from Berkeley Went, 1861 from Jordan Wilgenbush, 1860 from Carson Clements, 1859 from Tessa Taylor, entry 1865 from Trinity Bulger, and entry 1858 from Claire Christensen. Over in your Gelbvieh show ring, your results for class number 2. Class number 2, second place, entry 1373 from Nick Doring. First place went to entry 1371 from Gabe Huser. And the ring at this time is now our champion drive for our judge, Mr. Matt Lewis of Iliff, Colorado, to select your champion and reserve champion heifer calves.
Well, as we bring out your first place individuals out of the first division here for your Gelbvieh Junior Show, really a nice pair of females here, your two class winners. Distinctly different, though, in their type and kind, and I think you know, depending on your preferences, there's some things that I can sure like about each of these females. The female that came out of our first class, as we discussed her, tremendously long-bodied, really long-fronted female who's really big and long down her top and out of her hip. One that's sure got enough mass and substance to her. To me, I read her as just she's going to be a big cow someday. And that's not to take anything away from her, because there's a lot of opportunities for mating flexibilities with a female like this. But one that maybe doesn't quite handle her hind leg as well as the heifer that came out of our second class. But really a lot of quality, tremendous female right there. Our heifer that comes out of our second class just kind of hits you on the side profile, is just really cowy. One that's really feminine as she's made up through her front end. I give her that probably advantage over the heifer that came out of the first class. One that's super big bodied. She's too is really a long hipped female, and I think she just has that added balance that we're probably looking for in this particular venue. She'll be your champion in this division. We're going to go ahead and follow with your heifer for reserve in this division. Give both of them a real nice round of applause.
Your Gelbvieh heifer calf champion comes out of class number 2. That is entry 1371 from Gabe Huser of Minneapolis, Kansas. Your reserve champion is going to come from class number 1. That is entry 1364 from Isabel Lowe of Adrian, Missouri. Coming in the ring at this time is going to be class number 4 in your programs. This will be our senior heifer calves division. This will be the first class of the division. These calves have been born September 1st of 2023 through December 31st of 2023. We have 2 entries within this class. Entry 1411, that is going to be from Hadley Ketcherside of Cuba, Missouri. And we have entry 1388 from Callan Warner of Arapahoe, Nebraska.
Well, as we continue to work through our Gelbvieh show, 2 really nice females again, and I think a lot of stark contrast in terms of the type and kind of the cattle that are out here. Each one of them, though, have a lot of quality in them, so I think that's the main important part to what we're doing as we evaluate these cattle. The one to me that balances the best for me and just is probably the most up-headed, really a long-bodied female, will be the red heifer that we're going to start the class with. One that I think is tremendous in terms of her length of body, length of hip. Again, as you set her into motion, she'll cover on both ends as she sets into motion. She's very athletic as we get her on the move. Yeah, you know, if I could change her just a little bit, I maybe like to lay that shoulder back in her just a little bit, just make her a little softer through her knee, up through her front end, but one that I think has probably an advantage just in terms of balance as we study her. She's going to be particularly bigger, mature size, I believe, maybe than the black heifer that comes out. This is a really moderate framed, deep-bodied, high-volume type of female that this young man is showing, one that I think's got a lot of maternals in her. She's really good and clean through her neck. To me, she's just a little quicker maturing female, a little shorter maybe in her hip and not quite as coordinated as we get her set into motion off those hind two. But a really high-quality pair of females again in that class. Give them a nice hand, please.
Your results from class number 4 of your Gelbviehs. Second place, entry 1388 from Callan Warner. And your class winner, entry 1411 from Hadley Ketcherside. Coming in the ring at this time is now going to be class number 5. This will be senior heifer calves, August 1st through August 31st of 2023. We have a single entry in class number 5, 1389 from Casey Brown of Dwight, Kansas.
Another nice single entry on your Gelbvieh side of the ring. A female, again, as we kind of analyze her and study her, one that's got some real length and extension through her front end and down her top line. Sure, a big-bodied female as well. One, as you read her on paper, maybe you'd like to give her a little more growth. She does read as Cavanese, though, so I think there's some certain aspects of our industry that can sure use those genetics. But a female that's really long-bodied, maybe just get her off the ground a little stouter and wider as I study her, maybe in terms of her just her skeletal width and dimension. But here's a nice female as a single entry. Please give her a nice hand.
Your results coming out of Class 104A of your miniature Herefords. 6th place, 1860 from Carson Clements. 5th place, 1859 from Tessa Taylor. 4th place, 1861 from Jordan Wilgenbush. 3rd place, 1865 from Trinity Bolger. 2nd place, entry 1862 from Berkeley Wendt. And your class winner, entry 1858 from Claire Christensen. In your miniature Hereford show ring at this time is Class 104B. These are still early spring junior heifer calves, calved March 1st through the 31st. In this class, we have entries 1857 from Jackson Clausen. 1855 from Colton Christensen. We have another entry, 1856 from Colton Christensen. 1854 from Trinity Bolger. 1853 from Rayleigh Ezel. And entry 1852 from A.J. Camp. That is your completed class of Class 104B. Over within the South Show ring in your Gelbvieh show, your results from class number 5, entry 1389, first place is Casey Brown. In the ring at this time is now going to be your champion and reserve champion selection for your senior heifer calves of your Gelbvieh breed.
Well, as we get into this division here, two of your class winners, the two red heifers representing each of their classes. Let's talk about them just briefly here, and then we'll pick your champion reserve in this division. The heifer that came out of our first class, the September heifer, just a really nice one in terms of her balance and her profile. We talked about that in class. Really up-headed, big level hip in this one. As we talked about her in class, maybe like to just lay her back at the top of her shoulder just a little bit, just give her a little bit more flexibility through that shoulder and front end, but sure not one that's unsound, just one that we could make her a little better if we wanted to, but that's a nice female. Heifer that come out of that second class, one that's sure got some length of body. She really is a long-bodied, long-spined female, particularly through her hip. As we talked about her, she may be just not quite as powerful as we read her from hooks to pins, maybe one that's just not quite as coordinated off of either end, but two real nice females. We're going to go ahead and use our class winner out of our first class in this division. She'll be your champion. I think honestly, then you have to kind of make a decision here for champion or for reserve, and we bring in the black heifer out of that first class. One that congratulations. One that when you study her, there's a lot of things I like about her, just from the standpoint of her rib shape, and I love her up through her forerib and through her center body shape. One that to me is just a little quicker maturing. one that's not going to be near, she's going to just be a quicker maturing type female. If I could get her off of those hind two just a little bit better, maybe lean her up a little bit at this particular stage of the game, that would help me be able to really have a little more confidence of where we're at with her. But one that I think has a lot of breeding opportunities and a lot of breeding potential as well. But I think it's a close call. I'm going to go ahead and use the red heifer for reserve just because of her added length and extension and just a notch better off those hind two. Give all your exhibitors in this division a nice hand.
Your champion Gelbvieh Senior Heifer Calf comes from class number 4. That is entry 1411. That is from Hadley Ketcherside of Cuba, Missouri. Your reserve champion Senior Heifer Calf in the Gelbvieh comes from class number 5, entry 1389, from Casey Brown of Dwight, Kansas. Coming in the ring at this time for your Gelbvieh show in the Southern Show Ring is class number 7. This is a new division. This will be our junior yearling heifers. In class number 7, we have 2 entries, 1396 from Owen Spencer of Pierre, South Dakota. And we have entry 1398 from Elena Winter of Hillsboro, Kansas.
Well, in your Gelbvieh ring, we've got two really nice, high-quality junior yearlings here, both March females here. And I think there's a lot of quality in both of them. The heifer that we're going to lead off with, the young man here in the cowboy hat, there's a lot of things I like about this one, and it's kind of hard not to like the attributes that she brings to the table, just in terms of her body shape and the mass that she has. When you study her from hooks to pins, she's extremely long, wide, and level from hooks to pins. And then, you get her set into motion. She travels good enough for me. She moves on a nice long free stride. She's right close to Kevin here, so we're seeing some good udder development. Teat size looks acceptable. So I think a really nice female that this young man has here, a really high quality individual. The young lady that we're going to bring out in second, maybe not quite as much performance as the heifer that leads off this class, but she's still shaped right. As you study her through her center body shape, she's got a round shape to the center of her body cavity. She's one that's got some width and some thickness down her top. One for me that just doesn't balance quite as well. One that maybe wants to drop at her pins when we get her set into motion, and it's just not quite as athletic as we get her set in. As the heifer that we lead off with. But two real nice females here. She's bred up nice, going to calve in March for this young lady. So a really nice pair of females. Give them both a nice round of applause, please.
Your results coming out of Class 104B on your miniature Hereford show. Fifth place, 1852 from A.J. Camp. Fourth place, 1857 from Jackson Clausen. Third place, entry 1853 from Rayleigh Hazel. Third place, 1856 from Colton Christensen. And your class winner was 1854 from Trinity Bulger. In the miniature Hereford show ring at this time, we have brought back our first and second place winners from classes 104A and 104B. Our judge, Mr. Lautner, will select our champion and reserve champion early spring junior miniature Hereford heifer calves. Your results coming out of class number 7 in your Gelbvieh show. Second place goes to entry 1398 from Elena Winter. And your class winner, entry 1396 from Owen Spencer. In the ring at this time for your Gelbvieh show is class number 8. This is junior yearling heifers, February 1st through February 28th of 2023. We have the lone entry 1402 from Carter Voss of Bruning, Nebraska.
Got a nice single entry here on the Gelbvieh side. Really a nice female. One that's sure big-bodied, big-hipped. One that's got a feminine look to her, and one that I think, as the young man and I were talking, we're close to payday here. So she's getting close to calf. Really good udder and teat size on this female. So I think a lot of quality in this one. As you study around the ring, maybe some structural things that I'd maybe like to change just a little bit, but maybe we can talk about more of those when we get into our division round. So really a nice female. Give this young man a nice round of applause. Thank you.
Over in your miniature Herefords, your champion early spring junior heifer calf comes from entry 1854 of Trinity Bulger. And your reserve champion early spring junior heifer calf was just crowned. That would be the first place coming out of class 104A, entry 1858 from Claire Christensen. Your results coming out of class number 8 of junior yearling heifer Gelbvieh's. First place, entry 1402 from Carter Voss. In the ring at this time for our Gelbvieh show will be now class number 9. These will be junior yearling heifers born January 1st through January 31st of 2023. We have a single entry in this class, 1404, from Addie Winter of Hillsboro, Kansas. Coming in the ring at this time right now for your miniature Herefords is class 105. These are winter junior heifer calves, January 1st through February 29th of 2024. We have entry 1870 from Brenna Thorson, 1869 from Evie Mitchell, 1868 from Allison Griffin, 1866 from Mesa Arnold, 1867 from Riley White, and 1864 from Jolie McIndeffer.
Well, we have another single entry in our Gelbvieh junior show, but another high-quality individual, one that's really, really stout. When you study her down her top and out of her hip, one that brings a lot of muscle shape down through her quarter, and one that's just really stout and heavy muscled. Here's a good female. A female too that when you study her just in terms of her center body shape, she has a nice curve to that center rib. One that's sure got some length again in terms of her length of hip. One that maybe doesn't balance quite as well as you kind of study her through her front end. She's got just a little more crest, not quite as feminine maybe about her head, but one that's sure powerful, and I think an awful nice individual for this young lady. So please give her a real nice round of applause for this single entry.
Your results for class number 9 of junior yearling heifers. First place, entry 1404 from Addie Winter. At this time, within our Gelbvieh show, we will bring back our first and second place winners from classes 7, 8, and 9. Our judge, Mr. Matthew Lewis, will select our champion and reserve champion junior yearling Gelbvieh heifers.
Well, as you get into your junior yearling division here in the Gelbvieh ring, I think a lot of quality out here. There's a lot of differences, though, when you really get into the cattle and really study them. And so we'll discuss those a little bit, and as we discuss, maybe I'll be able to kind of get it figured out in my mind what the right thing to do is. The heifer that comes out of our first class is one that when we talked about her in class, you just love her body shape, you love her depth of flank, her center body shape, one that's really big hipped, one that, maybe we could clean her up just a little bit through her chest floor and just kind of freshen her up there. I think that's got more to do with probably where she's at just in terms of calving and those kind of things. But one that's good and long fronted, one that I think when we get her set into motion, I think that's a big advantage here in this particular female. Really true to the ground as you study her off of both ends. I maybe like to give her just a little more flex to that rear hock, but she's still reaching out and she's still covering her track when we get her set into motion. And so a lot of quality in this one, and I think some pieces to kind of sort through from that standpoint. The heifer that comes out of that second single entry, or the first single entry class here in the middle, is one again that I think is very similar kind of type and kind to the heifer that came out of the first class. Tremendous body shape, tremendous forerib shape in this one, big flank in her, big hip in this one. As you study her length from hooks to pins, she's got as much length as anything. Really good up through her front end too, not real feminine, but adequate in terms of the femininity. She might be just a nickel cleaner through her chest floor than the heifer that comes out of that first class. My concern with this one is maybe when we get her set into motion and just study her from a true structural standpoint. When you watch her come at you, she wants to get a little outside of herself off both ends. Doesn't really want to reach with a lot of authority and get off of that hind leg kind of maybe the way I'd like her to. But there's a lot of quality and a lot of good in that particular female. As we talked about the heifer that came out of the third class as a single entry, really massive in terms of her muscle and her shape. Big hipped heifer again, tremendous shape to her top. Again, one maybe just a little plainer through her front end as we study her. But one that from a structure standpoint, I like her, the way she's designed through her shoulder and her front end. Maybe could be just a little, she's a little round at her shoulder, but just in terms of the bone design and the way she's made, she comes to the ground really good. She just doesn't get off of her hind two either with quite as much authority. So I think there's some differences. There's some quality in each one of these individuals, your class winners. I think the one that makes the most sense to me from just being the most fault-free is the heifer that comes out of our first class. She'll be your champion in this division. We're going to follow her with the young man that had the single entry out of the second class. She'll be reserve in this division. Give them both a nice hand. Congratulations, young man.
Some results to get through. Your champion and reserve champion junior yearling heifers in your Gelbvieh breed. Your champion went to entry 1396 of Owen Spencer. Your reserve champion, entry 1402 from Carter Voss. In the ring at this time for your Gelbvieh show is now going to be your champion and reserve champion Gelbvieh female selection. So we have our champion and reserve champions back from each division. Some results coming in for Class 105 of your miniature Herefords, your winter junior heifer calves division, the only class within the division. 6th place, entry 1868 from Allison Griffin. 5th place, 1866 from Mesa Arnold. 4th place, 1864 from Jolie McIndeffer. 3rd place, 1867 from Riley White. 2nd place, and that's going to be your reserve champion winter junior heifer calf, 1869 from Evie Mitchell. And your class winner and your champion winter junior heifer calf, 1870 from Brenna Thorson. In the ring at this time for your miniature Herefords is now going to be a new division. This is Class 106A. This division is sponsored by Glory Farms. This will be fall intermediate heifers calved October 1st through December 31st of 2023. Within this class, we'll have entries 1882 from McKenna Camp, 1881 from Jordan Wilgenbush, 1880 from Remington Blesson, 1878 from Tate Taylor, 1879 also from Remington Blesson, and entry 1877 from Ben Cottle. These are your entries that make up Class 106A of your miniature Herefords.
We'll give all your exhibitors a real nice hand here in your Gelbvieh Junior show. A lot of quality here, so put your hands together for them and this show over here. A really high quality set. You know, as you get them back out here, you really like what you've been able to do, and that's not anything that's to my credit. That's just simply that there's good cattle out here to sort from. And so my congratulations to the breeders and those individuals and these young people for doing an outstanding job just bringing the cattle and getting them in the right shape and the right condition, and just for selecting, in my mind, the right kind. And so the heifer that comes out of our first division, one that I really liked when she came out, I haven't changed my mind on her. She's really, really good in terms of her balance and the way she profiles. She's kind of fighting the halter a little bit today, but we finally got her in a spot where you can just see what she is on the side profile here, and she's one that's big top, big hip. The thing I really like about her is I think that she's very genuine in terms of her structural design and makeup, especially when you get her set into motion. I think, if this young man continues to kind of, she's one that I think if you let her get away from you, she could, but one that if you kind of manage her right, I think she's got a long future ahead of her. The heifer that comes out of our second division, one that we talked about, just really a nice balanced female, really particularly like the way she's made up through her neck and her head, and just very, very balanced from that standpoint. Super long-bodied and long-hipped. Again, as we talked about her, maybe one that maybe just like to just give her a little more cushion up through that front end, but one that's a really high quality. And then the heifer that comes out of our older females here, one that definitely has got a lot of quality, a lot of good in her. We talked about her a couple of times now here in terms of our discussion. She's sound enough. She's really big-ribbed, and one that I think has got a bright future ahead of her. So there's some really nice pieces out here. I'm going to go out and take one more look, and then we'll select your champion in reserve. Please give them one more nice round of applause, please.
Your champion Gelbvieh female comes from your junior division. That is entry 1396 from Owen Spencer. Rolling into consideration for the reserve will be the reserve from said division. That is entry 1402 from Carter Voss.
Well, nice female to use in this division, and for your grand champion, young man come out of the, and then you bring the heifer that was reserve in that division, and one that sure doesn't back off in terms of quality and type and kind. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of a sucker for a good, really big bred one, and I think these two kind of fit together and need to stay together. So she'll be your reserve champion female today. Give this young man a nice hand.
Your reserve champion Gelbvieh female also comes from your junior yearling heifer division. That is entry 1402 from Carter Voss. Your results for Class 106A of your Fall Intermediate Miniature Hereford Heifers. 6th place, 1882 from McKenna Camp. 5th place, 1880 from Remington Blessed. 4th place, 1881 from Jordan Wilgenbush. 3rd place, 1879 from Remington Blessed. 2nd place, 1877 from Ben Cottle. And your class winner, entry 1878 from Tate Taylor. In the ring at this time will now be Class 106B. This is our 2nd class within the division. This is still Fall Intermediate Heifer Calves, calved October 1st through December 31st. Within this class of miniature Herefords, we have 3 entries. 1876 from Jody Looney, 1875 from Fallon Savage, and entry 1872 from Britton Schlegel. At this time within our Gelbvieh show, we have taken a pause for pictures at the backdrop with our judge. As soon as our pictures are done, we will move right into our junior balancer females, starting with class number 1. Your results for Class 106B of Fall Intermediate Miniature Hereford Heifers. Third place, 1872 from Britton Schlegel. Second place, 1876 from Jody Looney. And your class winner, 1875 from Fallon Savage. Coming into the ring at this time for your miniature Herefords will be our first and second place winners from classes 106A and B. Our judge, Mr. Travis Lautner, will select our champion and reserve champion fall intermediate heifers.
Well, as we start into our junior balancer show, really two nice females again, a lot of quality. Really like the black heifer that we're going to lead the class off with. Again, as you study her, just tremendous shape and center body shape for a May female. A heifer that balances extremely well. She's really neat and extended up through that neck and that front end, and one that I think when you get her into motion, she's sure adequate in terms of her structural soundness. So really a nice place to start. The young man's red heifer that comes out in second, really extreme in terms of the way she's built through her neck and her front end. Very, very feminine made, really extended and long up through her front end. Maybe not quite as much power as we just read her at the ground and then and go up from there, but one that's sure got some length and some extension and sure puts a nice look on the side when you study her. So give both of those exhibitors a nice hand. Thank you.
Your results from class number 1 of your Gelbvieh Junior Balancer Female Show. These are heifer calves from April 1st through May 31st of 2024. In second place, entry 1352 from Reed Overmiller. And your class winner, entry 1353, is Kasha Alber of Guide Rock, Nebraska. Coming in the ring at this time for your Junior Balancer Female Show, class number 2. These are heifer calves March 1st of 2024 through March 31st of 2024. We have entries in this class 1355 from Tegan Butterfield of Atkinson, Nebraska. 1356 from Tegan Butterfield of Atkinson, Nebraska. Entry 1360 comes from Casey Brown of Dwight, Kansas. And entry 1409 comes from Bo Gottschall of Stewart, Nebraska. Your champion fall intermediate heifer comes out of Class 106B for your miniature Herefords. That is entry 1878 from Tate Taylor. Rolling into consideration will be our second place from Class 106A. That'll be entry 1877 from Ben Cottle. Your reserve champion fall intermediate heifer is your first place winner from 106B. That is entry 1875 from Fallon Savage. In the show ring at this time for your miniature Herefords is now Class 107A. These are summer intermediate heifers, calved July 1st through September 30th of 2023. We have entries in this class from 1894 of John Carter, 1893 of Ada Pence. 1892 comes from Walker Wiley, 1892 from Deacon James, and entry 1884 from Piper McIntyre. This completes your Class 107A of miniature Herefords.
Well, this is an interesting class here as we get into these heifers here on the Gelbvieh balancer side here, and there's a lot of give and take, to be honest with you, and I think the future will decide whether what we did here was probably the correct thing or not. But each one of these heifers has got some attributes about them that I thoroughly like, and then there's a few things that we just would like to maybe change a little bit. So the heifer that we're going to lead out with, to me, is probably just the most fault-free. As I study her, she's not the most overpowering, she's not the widest, she's not the deepest, she's not the heaviest muscled, but she balances extremely well. She's good at the ground, and I think she's got enough look and enough future ahead of her that she's going to continue to be a female that will continue to get better as we go with age. So I think she's just a real nice, complete place to start. If you want one that's kind of out there, just from the standpoint of just being a high-performing, that's got a lot of shape to her, and a female that's really big-footed and big-boned and really extreme, I think, kind of as you study her through your front end, then you like the heifer that comes in second. To me, she just doesn't balance quite as well as I study her and compare her to the heifer that we lead the class off with. I just think she's got a structural advantage kind of in the way she handles her hind two over the heifer that comes in third. The heifer in third, to me, is probably the most practical one of the group, one that's big-ribbed. She's really good through her flank. One that's kind of fighting the halter here today and just not showing us probably everything that she can be. She's just a little uncoordinated as we get her set into motion off those hind two, and I just that's my main concern with her at this particular time, but a really high-quality female. Heifer that rounds out the class, this young man, really a nice female from the standpoint of just being a long-bodied female that's really good in terms of her stoutness down her top, one that just doesn't balance quite as well for us and not quite as good as we get her set into motion. Challenging class, I'll let you place those top three how you like them. That's my choice. Give them a nice hand.
Your results for class number 2 of your junior balancer females. Fourth place, 1409, comes from Bo Gottschall. Third place, entry 1356 from Tegan Butterfield. Second place, 1360 from Casey Brown. And your class winner, entry 1355 from Tegan Butterfield. And the rig at this time for your balancer show is now class number 3. These are heifer calves of February 1st through February 29th of 2024. In this class, we have entries 1361 from Gabe Huser of Minneapolis, Kansas. Entry 1363 from Hadley Ketcherside of Cuba, Missouri. 1365 comes from Owen Sauer of Lewiston, Minnesota. 1367 from Easton Bose of Orleans, Nebraska. 1368 comes from Callan Warner of Arapahoe, Nebraska. Entry 1369 comes from Paige Walahoshki of Overton, Nebraska. That makes up your class number 3 of your junior balancer females. Results coming out of Class 107A of Summer Intermediate Heifers. 5th place, 1894 from John Carter. 4th place, 1884 from Piper McIntyre. 3rd place, 1893 from Ada Pence. 2nd place, 1891 from Deacon James. And your class winner, entry 1892 from Walker Wiley. And the ring at this time for your miniature Herefords is going to be Class 107B. These are still Summer Intermediate Heifers. These are calved July 1st through September 30th of 2023. We have 4 entries in this class. 1889 from Paisley Osment. 1888 comes from Gentry Blesson. 1887, Blakely Murphy. And entry 1886 comes from Ben Cottle. These are your 4 entries that make up Class 107B of your miniature Herefords.
Well, this is a high-quality set of females here, top to bottom in this class, and these top 3, I think there's a lot of differences. So let's just talk about them a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and place them. The heifer that's standing up here right now in the first position is one that when you just really study her, she's just got cow written on her. I mean, she's a wide design female. I think the thing that I like about her the best is just the fact that she's wide at the ground. She's really good footed. She's really good in her angles in terms of the way she's designed structurally, and you get her set into motion. She's got enough flexibility and enough go, and then being really powerfully designed too. She's a big hip heifer and with a lot of shape to her as well. And with all of that power, she's still really good up through her front end. So here's a female that maybe just doesn't have that pizzazz to her, but one that is really, really high quality. And I think there's a lot of potential and a lot of places to use a heifer like that. So she's really nice. This heifer that we've got standing here in the middle, one that to me is maybe as sound made as anyone that's out here. When we get her set into motion, she's as fluid and as athletic off either end as any of the females that we've got out here. To go along with that, she's extremely long-bodied. Love her through her shoulder and her front end. She's just really got that really neat feminine look to her. She's got a really nice shape head to her, and just the way she balances is really good. The thing that, if you really want to study her and just look at her from the ground up, I'd just like to pull her apart a little bit and just give her more power, maybe to run with a couple of these other ones. But here's a female that when you just really get down and analyze pieces and parts in terms of structure, in terms of balance, she really hits me pretty hard, really. Then the heifer that we've got standing third right now is another one that just really looks extremely good from the side profile. One that's really big to her top. She's really big out of her hip. To me, she's super in terms of her forerib shape and her center body shape. For me, really good up through her front end as you look at her again. Maybe a little rounder in her shoulder, maybe a little higher in her tail set, and just doesn't balance quite sometimes for me as well. But that's another really high quality female. I think as we've stood here and we've analyzed them, we're going to leave them in the position they're at. We'll go 1, 2, and 3 on a really high quality set. Give them a nice hand, please.
Your results from class number 3 in your junior balancer female show. 6th place, 1363, goes to Hadley Ketcherside. 5th place, entry 1368 from Callan Warner. 4th place, 1365 from Owen Sauer. 3rd place, 1369, Paige Wallahashki. 2nd place, entry 1367 from Easton Boise. And your class winner, entry 1361, Gabe Huser. In the ring at this time for your balancer show is now class number 4. We have 3 entries in this class. These are heifer calves, January 1st through January 31st of 2024. We have entry 1370 from Weston Voss. 1374 comes from Owen Spencer. And 1375 comes from Grant Walahoski. Results from Class 107B of your miniature Herefords. In fourth place, 1888, Gentry Blesson. Third place, 1889, Paisley Osment. Second place, 1887, Blakely Murphy. And your class winner was entry 1886 from Ben Cottle. In the ring at this time for your miniature Herefords is your first and second place winners from classes 107A and 107B.
Well, another really nice class of Gelbvieh females. Heifer that wins this particular class is super elegant as you study her on the side profile. Really neat up through her front end. Super long-bodied female with a big, long hip in her. You get her set into motion, go ahead and start walking her, young man. I think she just really fits the bill there from that standpoint as well, and real fresh. So another nice female there to lead this class off with. Some give and take here for second and third. To me, we're going to use one that's maybe just a little better structured as I study her through her down at the ground from behind. This young man's super long-bodied female. She's really fresh right now and balance is really good, and maybe just a little more correct angle to her hock behind as we study her. This young man's heifer that comes in third, sure, a powerful female. I like her, maybe give her an advantage over our second place heifer just in terms of her rib shape and just her overall body and capacity. One that maybe just not quite as athletic as we set her into motion off those hind two. Give those exhibitors a nice hand in this class. Thank you.
Your results from class number 4 of your balancers. Third place, entry 1370, goes to Weston Voss. 1374 is going to be your class winner of Owen Spencer. And in second place, entry 1375 from Grant Walahoski. At this time, within our Balancer Gelbvieh show, we will bring back our first and second place winners for our judge to select your champion and reserve champion heifer calves. Your champion summer intermediate heifer comes from class 107A. That is entry 1892 from Walker Wiley. Rolling into consideration for the reserve will be the second place from Class 107A. That'll be entry 1891 from Deacon James. Your reserve champion fall intermediate miniature Hereford heifer comes from Class 107B. That is entry 1886 from Ben Cottle.
Well, give your exhibitors in your balancer show here in your calf division a real nice round of applause. Really a high quality set when we get them out here, and really just really like what we've been able to do here. I'm not going to go back and talk each one of them here. We'll go ahead and pick a champion reserve. There's two of them that I think fit together real nice as we've had the opportunity to study them here this afternoon. So give them one more nice round of applause here in your calf division.
Your champion heifer calf comes from class number 3. That is going to be the first place entry from 1361 of Gabe Huser. Rolling into consideration for the reserve will be the second place from class number 3, entry 1367 from Easton Bowes. Your reserve champion heifer calf for your balancers also comes from class number 3. That'll be the second place, 1367 from Easton Bowes. In the ring at this time now for your miniature Herefords is Class 108A. These are spring intermediate heifers calved April 1st through June 30th of 2023. This is a new division. This division is sponsored by 4 Moores Miniature Herefords. Within this class, our first class of the division, we have entries 1907 from Brady Streeter, 1906 from Flora Insico, 1905 from Bristol Pence. 1903 comes from Walker Wiley. 1902 comes from Juno Hunter. And your last entry, 1901, comes from Chase Hunter. Moving right along in your southern show ring for your balancer show is class number 6. Class number 6 is senior heifer calves of October 1st through December 31st of 2023. We have 2 entries. 1379 from Gabrielle Thibault of Idaville, Indiana. Entry 1380 comes from Lainey Sasser of Edmond, Oklahoma. These are your 2 entries for class number 6.
Well, this is two really nice females. The black heifer we're going to lead off with is just massive. When you study her at the ground, her base width carries all the way up, and then with all of that mass and power that she's got, she balances extremely well. And I think the thing for me is just when you get her set into motion, she'll sure cover that front foot track and reach with some athleticism and some go in her. That's a very, very high quality female. The heifer that we're going to use in second is another really high quality female, just not quite as much of her as I study her and compare to the black heifer, just not quite as powerful off of either end, but one that when you get her just stopped and you get her get that look from the side, she hits you really, really hard. She's very athletic in her movement as well, just not quite enough of her to get around the black heifer, but two really high quality individuals there. Please give them a nice round of applause.
Results from class number 6 of your senior heifer calves in your Gelbvieh Balancer show. Second place entry 1380 goes to Lainey Sasser of Edmond, Oklahoma. And your first place class winner, entry 1379, comes from Gabrielle Thibault. In the ring at this time, we'll now bring in class number 7. Class number 7 will be senior heifer calves August 1st through September 30th of 2023. We have a single entry in this class, 1386, from Trinity Treasure Drexage of Shelbyville, Missouri.
Well, on your balancer side, another really high-quality female here in the single entry class that this young lady's showing. Tremendous length of body and hip in this one, one that's sure long and extended up through her front end. Maybe not quite as massive as some that we've seen today, just from the standpoint of the base width in this female and just her skeletal width, but one that silhouettes very nice when you study her on the side. Give this young lady a nice hand, please. Well, as we come over to your balancer show ring, I think it's pretty straightforward in terms of this division. Those two females that come out of that first class, really high quality individuals. We're going to go ahead and use the black heifer for your champion in this division, and we'll follow with the heifer that stood second in that class for reserve. Give all your exhibitors here a nice hand, please.
Your results coming out of Class 108 of your miniature Herefords. Fifth place, entry 1906 from Flora Ensico. Fourth place, 1903 from Walker Wiley. Third place, entry 1901 from Chase Hunter. Second place, entry 1907 from Brady Streeter. And your class winner, entry 1905 from Bristol Pence. In the ring at this time for your miniature Herefords is going to be Class 108B of Spring Intermediate Heifers. We have entries from Lillian Stavik, Deacon James, Kenyon Dops, Jody Looney, and Brady Streeter.
Well, as we get into your first class here, junior yearlings, two really good females again. The heifer that we're going to lead off with, as you just kind of analyze the two and start studying type and kind, the heifer that we lead off with is just more massive in terms of her design. Sure has more center body shape in her and depth of flank in her. I think really her main advantage is when you just study her from hooks to pins and how wide and square and thick out of her pins she comes. I'd like to see her get off both ends just a little freer with a little more athleticism, but really a powerful female to go ahead and win this class. I like the heifer that stands in two. She's probably a nickel fresher in terms of her body composition, really long fronted female that's really long spined again. Just when you get behind her, she just doesn't give you as much power and as much base width and as much substance maybe as that heifer that we lead the class off with another really high quality individual. So give both of those individuals a nice hand. Thank you.
Your results coming in from Class 108B on your miniature Herefords. 5th place, entry 1900 from Lillian Stavik. 4th place, 1897 from Jody Looney. 3rd place, entry 1896 from Brady Streeter. 2nd place, entry 1898 from Canyon Dops. And your class winner, entry 1899 from Deacon James. At this time, within our miniature Hereford show, we will bring back our 1st and 2nd place winners for our judge to select your champion and reserve champion intermediate spring heifers.
Well, as we come back on our balancer side, another really high quality pair of females that come into our 2nd class here in our junior heifer division here. And the heifer we're going to lead off with, I think, again, as we've kind of talked about in a couple of the other classes, there's just more to her here, just in terms of her mass and her substance and her rib shape. One that, as you study her on the side profile, she's really long-bodied and really, really long-hipped. I like her a lot through her hip and the way she's put together through her hip. She's maybe not the most feminine female as you study her through the lower 1/3, but she's sure long-fronted. She's got a nice head on her and one that's just got more power in my opinion. You get her going toward the outgate, she moves really well for you. She'll reach and travel good for you. That's just a really high quality, powerful female. The heifer that comes out in 2nd to me is just killer on the side. When she is set and she's standing, she looks the part. When we get her set into motion, she just wants to raise in her top line just a little bit, drop at her pins just a little bit. When we get her set into motion, I read her just a little straighter off of both ends, and maybe one that's not quite as powerful as the one that led off the class. But here's a really high quality female that balances extremely well. I'd say she has the advantage over the heifer that we used to win the class in terms of the way she's designed through the base of her neck and her brisket and through her chest floor and up through her head. So just a really high quality female. Just like to stouten her up at the ground and just give her more substance, but another really good one. Give both your exhibitors there a nice hand. Well, a single entry female here in our Gelbvieh balancer ring heifer that sure could stand some more competition. So really high quality one as you study her just in terms of her balance and her design. Love her feet, love her structural makeup in terms of the way she gets out and goes through the ring. And one that's going to calve on her second birthday. So one that is doing it from a maternal standpoint as well. So give this young man a nice round of applause. Really high quality individual. Another real high quality single entry here in our final class here in our balancer show. Really high performing kind of female here, one that just is massive as you study her in terms of her rib shape and her flank. I like her center body shape. She's got that nice center body shape to her, especially through her center rib. A lot of capacity, a lot of stoutness in this female as you study her. Maybe on the side profile, she just doesn't hit you maybe quite as hard, but here's a female that's just got cow written all over, one that's going to go out and be a very, very productive breeding piece for this young lady. Let's give her a real nice round of applause. Well, as we bring out our final division in your balancer show, just a really outstanding group of females here. Females that have got a lot of usefulness in our industry. Females that I sure think have got a lot of quality and a lot of good in them. I'm not going to go back and talk about each one of them. I think I've got it solidified in my mind what we need to do, but some really high quality females, some individuals maybe that maybe we change just a little bit from a structural standpoint in terms of maybe some just overall design, but there's one that really hits me pretty hard in terms of just her design and her kind and her structural soundness and her integrity at the ground, and then just being fresh at this stage of the game as well. So give your exhibitors in this division a real nice hand. I'm going to go out and select your champion and reserve in your division. Thank you.
Your champion junior yearling heifer comes from class 11. That is entry 1403 from Easton Bowes. And your reserve champion comes from class number 10. That is entry 1395 from Megan Walahoski. Your results coming in from class 109 of winter intermediate heifers. 5th place, entry 1913 from Trinity Bulger. 4th place, entry 1910 from Jackson Clauset. 3rd place, entry 1909 from Tessa Taylor. 2nd place, and your reserve champion winter intermediate heifer, entry 1908 from Trinity Bulger. And your class winner and your champion winter intermediate heifer, entry 1911 from Riley White. Within our miniature Hereford show, we will now bring back all of our division winners, and our judge will select your Grand and Reserve Grand Champion females. Your Grand and Reserve Champion female buckles are sponsored by Green One Industries.
Well, if you would, please put your hands together for all your balancer exhibitors here in your junior show. Just a tremendous set of females here that we've got out here, and a really high quality set all the way to the bottom in terms of what we've been able to look at and evaluate here. I thought the heifer calf division, I thought that was fairly challenging actually when you get down to it. There's just so many different types and kinds on those heifers, and some of them are working for you today, some of them aren't. I think this heifer that we ended up kind of rounding out and using in that division, I think she's got a lot of quality, one that's sure stout and really good at the ground and really base wide and has got a nice look on the side. And she's finally, the more she comes out here, the more she's kind of working with this young man and doing a nice job in the ring. But it's taken her a little minute to be able to really get a good eye on her. But very high quality individual there in our division champion there in our heifers. On our senior yearlings here, this heifer that comes in, that was the division that didn't have quite as many numbers. Those two individuals are extremely high quality. This heifer is extremely good when you just study her in terms of her shape. I love her at the stand. She's just really powerful as you study her down her top and out of her hip. One that when you get her set into motion, she travels and is very athletic on the move. Sometimes she'll want to drop her head a little bit, so you got to keep her head up, but one that just puts a really, really nice cow picture together for me on the side when you study her. So really high quality individual there. Then our champion out of our last division, another really high quality female, one that when you get her set into motion, she's as good at the ground as anything that we've got out here. A female that's tremendously long bodied and tremendously long hipped for the stage that she's at, just in terms of where she's at in terms of being able to going to calve here in 3 weeks. Sometimes she wants to drop just a little bit at her loin. I think that's more a function of where she's at in terms of being heavy with calf. Yet for where she's at, she's extremely good in terms of her body composition. Really like her through her front end and her extension through her neck. And so I think it's a challenge. I really do, to go out and pick your champion in reserve here in this division. We've got a really nice set of second place females reserve division champions as well. So really a nice set. I think there's some give and take here, but a really high quality group. It's just been my privilege to be able to work with your juniors here in your Gelbvieh breed today. Thank the National Western for allowing me the opportunity to come, and for the Gelbvieh Association for asking me to come and evaluate this set of females and to work with your young people here today. I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about this building. I've had the opportunity to judge quite a few shows in this building, and there's no place like it. And when you leave here today, if this is your last time in Denver, this building will not be used anymore, but there's so much history in this place. And so capture a little bit of it, take it home with you, and revel in the fact that, those that have went before us have done an outstanding job in our industry, and this is an iconic place for us here in Colorado, and especially for the National Western. And so it's been a privilege to have the opportunity to be here one more time. So without further ado, I'm going to go out and select your champion in reserve. Please give them one more nice round of applause.
Your champion balancer female comes from your junior division. That is entry 1403 from Easton Bowes. Your reserve champion balancer female comes from your senior heifer calf division. That is entry 1379 from Gabrielle Thibault.